Exactly 1 month ago, I opened Godot. My goal was simple, to embark on a journey and build the world I have always wanted to create. Obviously, when I started, the game was riddled with bugs, and to be completely honest, it still is today. But bit by bit, I have been bringing the vision in my head to life. The concept is straightforward. You play as a Viking. Well, actually more like a Viking farmer, living on a small island. This island served as a crucial pit stop for navigators sent by the Jar on the conquest expeditions. Your job is to supply these warriors with provisions and host them while they recover on your island. Sounds easy, right? Well, it's not. I have to build a ton of defense systems from scratch. We are talking about farming mechanics to plant and grow crops, wood cutting to gather logs and keep the bonfire burning, and a double system that, if I'm being honest, I haven't even started coding yet. But let's look at what we do have so far. You can cultivate various types of plants that will later be used to cook different recipes. You sow a seed, time passes and the plant grows. Of course, it would have been too easy if I just left it at that, so naturally I overcomplicated things. It all started when I modeled the first berry plant in Blender, along with its different growth stages. But the moment I imported it into the game, I realized it needed more depth to actually make the farming look fun and engaging. So I decided to build a calendar, but not just any calendar, a traditional Viking calendar, which consists of 12 lunar cycles split into winter and summer months. The plan is that you will only be able to grow crops during the summer season, adding a nice layer of strategy, difficulty and realism to the game. To be fair, that seasonal restriction isn't fully implemented yet, but that's exactly the direction I'm hitting. As for the harvesting system itself, I actually added physics to each plant. They react dynamically when the player harvests them, and once you chop down a full set of 9 plants, a cozy little loot bag instantiates right on the spot. But enough about the plants for now. What you are looking at right here is our main character. He definitely didn't start out looking like this. After many iterations, I finally managed to get a result that I'm happy with for now. It's not the definitive model, but it's a massive upgrade. Just take a look at where we started. Yeah, this was the first character I designed for the game.
I don't like that, that's disgusting.
I think it's safe to say we have come a long way since then. Once the model was ready, it was time for the animations. I animated a few different states that I think will come in handy throughout the project. With our main character ready to roll and our very first mechanic fully integrated, it was time to finally breathe some life into this world. And what a better way to do that than by creating a dynamic day and night cycle. To start breathing some life into this world, I decided to begin with a day and night cycle. To be completely honest, I based my system on this tutorial right here. Let me briefly break down how it works. For those of you who aren't interested in looking at code, feel free to skip to this timestamp on the screen. Don't worry, I will keep it short. The time of day variable goes from 0 to 1, representing a full day cycle, and it increases automatically based on a configurable day length in seconds. As it updates, it rotates the sun and moon to match the current time, and smoothly fades the sunlight energy down and the moonlight up during nighttime. It's also swapped between a day and night environment resource, depending on whether it's currently night. We change the sky, fog and ambient light. Finally, it spawns and recycles a pool of cloud meshes that drift across the sky at random heights and depths, looping back to the start once they pass a certain point, to simulate continuous cloud movement without needing to spawn new ones constantly. If you want a deeper dive into the code, definitely check out the original video. Once the day and night cycle was up and running, I decided it was time to add some grass. I mean, who doesn't love games with dense foliage? My first model in Blender didn't really convince me, so I ended up scrapping it and starting over. Once I finally got the look I actually like it was time to bring it into Godot. At first, I tried using a third-party asset to handle the grass placement, but it absolutely tanked my performance. So I opted to use Godot's built-in multi-mesh instant 3D node instead. Now, the grass was there, but it was missing something crucial: movement. I wanted to sway with the wind and react to the player. So I turned to YouTube to look up shader tutorials because, let's be honest, shaders are basically black magic to me. After tweaking and testing through several tutorials, I finally got a result I'm happy with. The grass now sways naturally with the wind and the player bends in position when walking over it, just like in real life. To be fair, I'm still not 100% satisfied with how the player interaction looks. But for this stage of development, it's more than good enough. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how to safely instantiate multiple grass, multi-mesh across the entire terrain without melting my frame rate. I have a feeling the right approach would be to develop a chance system, so only the areas near the player are loaded. If any of you Godot experts out there know the best way to handle something like this, I would heavily appreciate it if you let me know down in the comments. Next, I move on to adding trees. I modeled 2 different types of trees in Blender, keeping the vertex count nice and low to maximize performance. For this specific part, I was actually forced to use a third-party asset to instantiate the trees across the terrain. This is because the assets allow me to preserve the scene data, which holds the script handling the wood cutting mechanics when the player chops down a tree. That being said, I'm only going to use this setup for now. As I mentioned earlier, it causing some frame rate drops, and my ultimate goal is to optimize the game so it can run smoothly on almost any device. Everything was finally starting to take shape, but I realized the world still felt a bit empty and lonely. So I decided to add some chickens. I modeled my chicken in Blender, and man, this part took some serious time. But after a lot of trial and error, I managed to get the design I actually like. I made a few basic animations in Blender, like walking, eating, and an idle state, and then brought them over to Godot to start coding their behavior. To keep it short, the current AI uses a state machine to move around the map freely, automatically altering between those different animation states. I also threw in some sound effects to really breathe life into the world. As for the gameplay loop, this chicken will lay 1 egg every day as long as they are fed. If they run out of food, no eggs for you. And you might be wondering, what do they eat? Well, they feed on the crops from some of the plants I showed you earlier. But of course, the chicken needed a place to sleep, so I hit it back to Blender and built this cozy little coop, along with a feeder. I also set up a very basic UI just to make sure everything was working correctly. Right now, the UI only displays the number of eggs inside the coop, and the feeder gives you a nice visual cue by filling up when you add food. Don't worry, this UI is just a placeholder, since I haven't fully figured out the final layout yet, but it does the trick for now. Looking ahead, I'm also thinking about implementing a market system for the chickens. The idea is they start with a base weight and fatten up over time, meaning the heavier the chicken, the higher its selling price. But here's the catch, you could also choose not to sell them and keep them for egg production instead. They won't live forever though, they will have a limited lifespan, so you have to risk holding on to Asian chickens for just a bit more profit. To make that risk actually worth it, I'm thinking that all the chickens could also have increased egg productivity. But for now, these are just ideas. I really don't want to bite off more than I can chew or let scope creep take over the project before I can handle it. Lastly, let's talk about a few other things I have been adding to the game, starting with the Campfire. My goal is for the Campfire to be a central point in the gameplay loop. It will be the place where you can rest to skip the night, and also where you will interact with an old friend who keeps us company on this lonely island. But I will introduce him in just a moment. Back to the Campfire, I modeled a fairly simple one in Blender, and inside Godot, I set up a GPU particle system to simulate the fire. I also added some sound effect, and just like that, we had a warm place to rest. I also implemented a dedicated UI button to skip the night, and added some custom cinematics for whenever the player is resting by the fire. As for the terrain, I modeled it in Blender using a few assets, which made the process pretty straightforward. I hand painted the terrain, and then I used some shader mixers to blend the textures together. To fit the overall art style, I imported the texture into Krita, applied a posterization effect, and tweaked the color grading to achieve the specific look you are seeing on the screen right now. For the ocean surrounding the entire island, I follow a tutorial to set up a stylized water shader, and as always, I will leave the link in the description. This shader simulates wave movement using a couple of noise textures. The next step here will be implementing water depth, and in case you were wondering, no, our character will not know how to swim. Speaking of visual style, I also implemented a screen shader that dynamically pixelates the entire image and downsamples the color palette to achieve a distinctive retro vibe. To be completely honest, I'm not sure if this shader will stay for long term, but somehow I think it gives the game a really unique and interesting look. Since this is a shader and we all know shaders are black magic, I follow a brilliant tutorial that taught me a ton about how post-processing works, and yep, you guessed it, link is also in the description. Finally, let's talk about our companion, the NPC who keeps us company on this isolated island while we wait for visitors. I modeled him in Blender and hand-painted his textures in Krita. Right now, he doesn't have any animations or functions yet, so he's just chilling there in a glamorous T-pose. However, the long-term plan is for him to be an old friend who gives you advice and helps you manage your lands. He doesn't have a name yet, although I have been brainstorming a few options. If you have any good name suggestions for him, please let me know down in the comments. To close out the video, I want to clear a few things up and answer some questions you might have. First, can you wishlist the game right now? Well, not yet. The game doesn't have a Steam page where you can add it to your wishlist just yet, which leads to the next question. When do I plan to release it? Honestly, the game doesn't have a release date. I'm still in a very early stage of development. To be completely honest, I don't even know if I will finish it or launch it. For now, it's just a side project that I work on my free time, even though I have been spending a lot of time on it lately. As for my previous experience as a developer, it's pretty much non-existent. I have only released one game before, which you can actually play over on my itch.io page. I still have so much to learn, and I'm just getting started in this fascinating world. You might also be wondering, does my English sound a bit off? Yeah, English isn't my native language, so my pronunciation isn't perfect. I'm still learning, and one of my goals with this channel is to improve both my language skill and my game dev skills. However, I do have prior experience with 3D software and video editing, so you can expect my content to be heavily influenced by animations. Speaking of which, will all the cinematics I showed be part of the actual game? No, not really. Many of the animations you saw in this video were made directly in Blender just to showcase my ideas and vision for the project. And that's pretty much for this video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future updates. Leave a like if you enjoy it, and I will see you in the next one.